Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. This is the show where we answer all of your questions that you send in every single week on the BrendenPlayz forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums or in the YouTube comment section down below. You can also leave a voicemail by heading over to the website BrendenPlayz.com and by clicking the green button on the right hand side of the page. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another bad week for the WWE in terms of injuries. John Cena's down, but there is a little bit of hope. The Royal Rumble is heating up. I'm pretty excited to see what happens there. We had a pretty good episode of Raw, and I'm just excited right now. I mean, even though so many guys are out, the Royal Rumble, it's quite spiced up, and you never know what's going to happen. It could be a few twists and turns here and there. I'm pretty excited for it, I'm not going to lie, but pretty easy week for me, let's be honest. I haven't really done too much this week. I've been house hunting for the last week. And I'm closing in on getting a new place. We'll talk about that in a second. But, yeah, I've kind of been slacking in the videos a little bit still, I know. I haven't kind of got back into a routine yet. I'm still away. Next week I'll be back home, so things should be back to normal a little bit. But, yeah, so I've been busy doing some things. You know, like I said, house hunting. We're currently closing in on getting a place now. Potentially could have that locked in by tomorrow, so I could know where I'm going to be living this year by tomorrow, which would be great. And I'll have about 30 days where I can move in, so until I can move in. So it's a pretty exciting period right now. Really keen. I mean, it potentially could mean that, you know, look, for my channel at least, you know, I'll have my own house. I could do videos whenever I want. I can stream wherever I want. I'll have, well, potentially maybe 50 times faster internet than I have now, which would be insane. But that's actually the reality, you know, where I'm looking to move right now will have incredibly faster internet than what I currently have now. So I will be able to do more videos. I'm going to get a new computer. I don't know if I have mentioned this, but I have found the computer that I want. So I'll talk about that in a second. But so yeah, I mean, it will mean that I'll be able to make more videos, upload more videos. I'm also looking to start my second channel and really transform that. So I guess we'll talk about that now. I mean, now that we're on the topic. We'll get into Raw in a moment, so everyone that wants me to hear about Raw, just be a moment until we get into that. But, so, this week I did find the computer I'm going to buy. It's about $3,100. I'm going to get 3 monitors with it. 2 monitors are going to be $200, and then I'm going to go a little bit higher up and get maybe a $450 monitor. I think they're BenQ monitors, so I think they're pretty good. I've done a little bit of research, heard some good things, so I'm pretty happy with those. So my kind of theory behind that is I'll have 2 monitors that are going to be like, you know, for your Facebook, my forums, my website, just cruising the internet, and obviously have my main monitor that I'm going to be gaming on and, you know, really working hard and want that, you know, the best quality that I can. So the other 2 monitors will just be for other stuff, and then we'll have 1 big monitor for gaming, because I can't really afford to get 3 great monitors right now, at least. And the computer I'm going to get, pretty much I think right now it's going to be way better for me. It's going to be really good for rendering. That's really kind of what I based my computer around. I've been asking for some advice from some experts that I know, and this is pretty much what they've got me, you know, got me onto. I don't know the specs, so I haven't got it up on me right now, but for as far as I know, it's pretty damn good. It should be a great machine for me for the next few years at least, and it should be able to really cut my rendering times in half, you know. Hopefully more than that, you know. Hopefully I can get a video out much quicker than what I'm doing now, because the reason why I don't upload more is because of that. My upload times are bad. Upload times are really out of my hands, but I'm going to be getting that fixed this year, and then it's really just the rendering times. This new computer will fix that, so really there's no more excuses, you know. Great render times, great uploading times, more videos from me. Life is easier. Life is a lot easier in terms of YouTube for me, so I can certainly do a lot more of that. And like I said, I want to try and launch my second channel. So originally I was going to do my Let's Plays and my walkthroughs and whatever I'm going to do, like all these other different games. I was going to do them all on the BrendenPlayz channel. But I think, like, I'm going to try and stick with the BrendenPlayz channel with what it is, you know, your WWE, the odd general manager series from an NBA, perhaps bring in, like, you know, an NHL or whatever, all these other games that just keep them, like, very similar, these similar groups of series in that, and then also On my second channel, it probably will be Brendan's Platinums. I'm going to just launch that on that because I'm happy with that channel, happy with that channel name. On that channel, then you'll see those playthroughs, me trophy hunting, me trying to get these trophies, me just playing games and just having fun. You'll see walkthroughs, me just playing the game, and and then I'm going to upload full episodes on that, and then I would upload a highlights package on my main channel, so you would still see on my main channel these other games that I'm playing, but it would just be like a highlights package. So all the best moments into one. So people, they can get a bit of a taste, bit of a tease, and if they want to see more, they can do it on the second channel. That's kind of what I want to do right now. That's kind of my goal, my plan. So that's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to doing that because, as you guys know, I'm a huge gamer. I play so many different games. And, I honestly just haven't found a series or haven't found a way to kind of showcase them in the way that I want to. But I think just me playing them, having fun, just chilling back, playing them, and you see me play them, I think you guys can get something out of that. And obviously on Twitch as well, will be something very similar there. I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming this year as well. So now the update is new house, new internet, new computer. All these things are starting to become a reality. Probably by the end of February, all these things will be coming into fruition. So very exciting times. Just a little bit more of a wait to go, unfortunately. But by next week, on the 20th of January, I should be having my internet upgraded at my current house, where my parents live. So I currently live with them, and I should be getting my internet upgraded there, which would be great. So for at least, the next month, my internet will be better. And there's a pretty good chance I'll be returning back to Twitch within the next week. So that would be really, really cool. A friend of mine also started a YouTube channel up this week as well, so kind of teaching him like the ropes at the moment, and he's got a little bit of work to do. I'm not going to lie, but it should be cool, and hopefully I can get him around and have him feature my Twitch channel, and we can just have some beers and just play some games and just have some fun on Twitch. So that's something that I've got planned. Hopefully in the next week or so, and really other than that, not much else is going on. I guess that's a pretty decent spiel about my week, but there is plenty of things to cover for this week's Monday Night Raw. So let's get straight into it. So to kick off the show, we had 29 men on the stage, and immediately my thoughts were, oh wow, look at all these 29 guys. Look how great all these guys are all legitimate threats to win the Rumble. No, my thoughts were, wow, I've never seen this guy for the last 3 months. We even had a rare Damien Sandow sighting. I mean, I thought he was dead. At least the WWE made me think he's dead because he's fallen off the face of the earth in the last 6 months. Maybe even a year now. So, yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. We haven't seen Sandow in forever. Not a year. It's about 6 months since probably the whole Axelmania, Macho Mandow thing went down. So it's been a long time for him, but he didn't really get much of a mention. I think he got maybe about 3 seconds of airtime. So, unfortunately for him, but it just goes to show how thin the roster is right now. And we're going to talk about the big injuries later on, but it's going to show how thin the roster is when the Royal Rumble does happen, because we're going to have a lot of lower mid-card job guys in that Rumble. You're going to have your Stardust, your Titus O'Neills, your Social Outcasts. Those guys will be in there. And already that's making up quite a lot. The Ascension will be in there. Probably, I was going to say the Los Matadors, but they haven't been around for a while. But that's already like 9-10 spots, that's taken up by guys who legitimately have absolutely no chance in hell of winning that match. And, probably Tyler Breeze in there, Jack Swagger. I mean, the list goes on. A lot of guys that's going to be in this Rumble match that's going to have legitimately no chance in hell of winning this match. And it just goes to show, the current situation. Look how thin this roster is. I mean, let's add in some guys that are injured right now. Let's add them into the Royal Rumble. Okay, you've got Seth Rollins, John Cena, Cesaro, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan. I'll even include Tyson Kidd. So I'm missing a few, obviously, but I guess you could throw Sin Cara in there. He's another one. But already, that's a lot of guys that are shaping up to make this Rumble even better. Just goes to show these injuries are really having a major impact, because right now they're in a really tough spot, because they don't really have enough time to build these guys into stars. can we take a mid-card guy? Can we take a Kalisto and build him into a threat between now and WrestleMania time so he can be a high-profile match at WrestleMania? I just don't know. Maybe if this was 10 years ago, for sure. But right now, in this current day and age of WWE and their booking, this 50-50 booking they're doing, and their inability to really create stars and really get people over, it's very unlikely. Because you see most guys, they get over on their own. You know, most guys are getting over organically and on their own. And when the WWE are trying to manufacture it, it's not really working as much. So right now, I just don't know. I think the Rumble's going to be pretty thin. You know, a lot of names. You know, take 5-6 names out of those, you know, guys that I just mentioned, and you put them in the Rumble match now, alongside Reigns, Lesnar, Ambrose, Owens. I'll even put Sheamus and Del Rio in there. Probably Triple H will be in there as well. The Rumble's shaping up to be pretty good. And obviously, you're going to have your mid-card guys, you know, your Dudley Boys in there, your Wyatt family in there. You throw all those guys in, the New Day as well. Chris Jericho, forgot about him. He's going to be in there. I guess even Dolph Ziggler as well. I mean, that's a pretty decent lineup of guys in the Royal Rumble. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So unfortunately, we're just kind of stuck with a lot of guys who probably have no business being in the Royal Rumble. They're going to be in the matchup, and that's a shame. I mean, but it has to happen, because who else are you going to put in there? I mean, the possibility right now. You know, last week we talked in depth about the Bullet Club signing and Nakamura as well. Potentially, some of those guys could appear in the Rumble. Perhaps we could see a Balor Club debut. The WWE signed a patent on a trademark, I should say, on the Balor Club name. So they obviously have some kind of plans, or at least, you know, it's a thought that Balor Club could be a thing in the WWE. So they kind of, you know, perhaps they're thinking about it. And who would be in there? Maybe Styles, Balor, you know, Gallows, Anderson. It's a pretty good group right there. I've heard some people say, well, they don't want to see AJ Styles get overshadowed by Finn Balor. But I don't think you could immediately put AJ Styles in such a prominent position without it not really working. I think you could get away with Finn Balor being that, but AJ Styles, I think, could be the breakout star in that group and eventually turn on the Balor Club. And, you know, perhaps if they're a babyface group, he could turn on them and turn heel to become the lead man and be his own man, doesn't want to be overshadowed, etc., etc. Storyline writes itself, but at least to get him on TV and establish him, I don't think you could do a AJ Styles in such a prominent position straight away. So that's probably the way I would do it. I mean, I don't think Nakamura is a fit for the Balor Club, so I probably wouldn't try to force him in there. But even if you just had Styles, Balor, and Anderson and Gallows, for now, I think that could really work. And you could debut them after WrestleMania, perhaps. Maybe debut them after the Royal Rumble. You know, if they're all signed, ready to go, maybe debut them then. Why wait? Get them on TV. Let's go. I mean, I don't think these guys really need to be in developmental. You know, Gallows has been here before. He knows how to work. He's been around for a long time. Anderson, maybe they might want to stick him in developmental. That's a possibility. I don't think they're going to put Styles in there. I think he's, 38 years of age. What's the point of putting him in NXT now, unless he's only going to work NXT? And I think Finn Balor's probably nearly ready to move up. So I think it really just writes itself, I think. I mean, you have them debut, have them make a big impact, maybe take out a few guys and kind of really create a brand new dominant stable. And a time where there's really so many spots available. John Cena going down this week, there's a whole brand new face of the company spot available. All these top spots, Rollins and Orton, they're gone. So there's two key spots available right there. So it's not as though, nobody's getting injured. It's not as though Zack Ryder and Heath Slater, those guys are getting injured. It's real key players are getting injured right now. So they have a real chance to kind of create brand new stars. And I think that's a possible way they could do that. I think it's pretty likely it may happen right now. I mean, I don't know who's going to be in the group, but a Balor Club group could be on the horizon, which I think is pretty exciting. We also had Sting as the first Hall of Fame inductee for this year announced. All I have to say about that is very well deserved. Unfortunately, it's been long overdue for the guy. I'm just glad he's back in the WWE. Well, glad he's in the WWE family finally, and getting the praise and recognition he deserves. Many people hate on Sting, saying, oh, he wasn't a draw back in WCW, he wasn't a big deal, wasn't a big star as everyone kind of looks back and thinks he was. But I wasn't a fan back then because I was, when Sting was on top, I was, 97, I was 2 years old, so I wasn't really, capable of remembering or even, I didn't even know wrestling existed probably back then. So I have no idea, but I just think from the wrestlers themselves, they hold Sting in such a high regard, and he was involved in a lot of major angles. Certainly in WCW, he had a great run, and say what you want to say about WCW, but at one time, they were the number one company, and Sting was one of their top guys, if not, maybe their top 3 at least. So Sting, I think, was a big deal, and certainly is a first ballot Hall of Famer, certainly deserves it, absolutely no question about that, and I'm glad he's in there. And I guess the question is, will he ever have one more match? I don't think he will, because I don't think Sting has any reason to. He had an opportunity to wrestle at WrestleMania. That was his big goal. And perhaps maybe another little goal, he wanted to wrestle for the WWE title, and he got that opportunity. And perhaps he probably would have had one more WrestleMania match if he didn't get that injury. That's another guy who's injured. But perhaps he would have had that one more WrestleMania match if he didn't get injured. But he probably can't, and the next best thing for him is to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I think that's perfectly fine, and I think it's great to see Sting now. And even if he doesn't have one more match, I'd be okay with it. I mean, he worked some decent matches. Those 2 matches he had were pretty decent. You can't complain with that. I think he certainly held up his own. Wasn't an embarrassment, I don't think. So certainly Sting, he got himself in a good shape, certainly put in a good effort, and definitely deserves that Hall of Fame ring. So, speaking of Kalisto, we mentioned him a moment ago. He is our new United States champion, defeating Alberto Del Rio. So, a bit of an upset there. I kind of thought it was going to happen. It just kind of seemed that way. They kept saying, oh, he's an underdog. There's no way. Del Rio's so good. He's never going to lose to a guy like Kalisto. And he did. So, I kind of expected it was going to happen. And I think it's great, because I think right now, when I look at this roster, and I'm wanting to see a guy that I think could be a breakout, at least a breakout babyface, Kalisto has that all written all over him. Sin Cara's out injured right now, so this is a real chance for Kalisto to have a singles run. And why not? They've got nothing to lose. Del Rio does not really need the US belt. He hasn't done anything for it. Giving it to Kalisto, I think, is a good thing. Now, while he hasn't, I don't think he's going to hold it for long. Honestly, I see him losing it at the Royal Rumble and Del Rio beating him up and taking the title back. And I just think that's the way they're going to do it. I think they're going to play it off perhaps as a Kalisto got a fluke win and Del Rio gets his win back. But if anything, it's just a way to kind of establish to the fans that Kalisto, hey, he can do it. This guy's a threat. He's a threat to this US title. And yes, he looks like Rey Mysterio. Yes, he sounds like Rey Mysterio. Maybe a lot of similar characteristics to Rey Mysterio, but I think right now, that's absolutely fine. I think Rey Mysterio was such a great wrestler. If you have anyone that can certainly be anything like him, that's a great positive. Rey Mysterio is a shell of his former self. If you've got a guy who may have 10 more years in this, who can be just like Rey Mysterio, or everything you wanted Rey Mysterio to be, then that's great. Kalisto is not a bad promo. He's got the Mexican accent, but he can certainly talk. He's not terrible. And in the ring, he's exciting. He's fast. He can do high-flying, high-risk moves. He's exciting, I think. What we saw at TLC was incredible. That was a hell of a move. So he can do a lot of crazy and great things. And I think Kalisto, certainly to me, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but I can see him doing some big things. And I've seen it for a few years now. Ever since he's been in NXT, I've heard a lot of great things about him when he was at Mexico. So I kind of always expected him to be that breakout, perhaps that next Rey Mysterio. So I think Kalisto, him winning the US title, I think is a great decision. And even if it's for a short period of time, at least you get Kalisto on that level. At least you give the fans, that new opinion on him, that, hey, this guy, he means business. This guy can, win matches. This guy can beat these top guys. And if they give Kalisto a couple-month run and kind of establish him as a next, upper mid-card babyface, I think that's a great thing. he might be one of the guys that may benefit big time from these injuries, and you probably wouldn't expect him to be one of those guys, but I think that's a good thing. It's really time right now, more so than ever, that we get new talent over. Look at a guy like Neville. He's come in, he's done literally nothing. Look at a guy like Tyler Breeze, come in, done exactly the same. It's time that we start to get some of these guys that have just come in. Let's get them over. We need to utilize these new NXT guys and do it well. So many guys, they come in, they just do absolutely nothing, and they don't recover for years. I mean, Cesaro came in, he did a little thing with the US Championship, and really just kind of fell away for such a long time after that, and still hasn't really recovered into anything now, and it's been 3 years. It's time we stop waiting 3-4 years to really do something with these guys. We make it happen now. And so Kalisto's had to wait nearly a year now, and starting to finally do something. Probably only because Sin Cara got injured, and probably only because John Cena and all these other guys are injured. Yes, but right time, right place. Hopefully he can take his opportunity. Hopefully he can impress. Hopefully he can, certainly hold up his own. And if he can, well, who knows? We may be seeing Kalisto really get a good push into something. And we might see Kalisto as a new upper to mid-card babyface that's going to be, in around these titles for the next year or so, which I think would be great. In our main event, we had a 1 versus all match. Now, this was probably the most ridiculous match I've seen. 1 versus all, but in the end it was 1 versus Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Now, mind you, just before the everyone else got in the ring, I was watching the match with Owens and Reigns. Then my stream cut out when I was watching it on, and then when I came back, everybody was kind of brawling and trying to beat up Reigns. So I kind of missed that little period there. So I'm not sure what exactly happened there. But in the end, this match just was really boring. I think you were just kind of waiting to see someone else get involved. To me, it would have been better if they had, the Ascension in there first. Have big bad Connor in there, and him get speared and Superman punched. Get him the fuck out of there. Then get Victor in there, and get a few of these guys eliminated. Then you bring in your Kevin Owens, and then you break it up at the end. And of course, at the end, out came Brock Lesnar. Very predictable, but it was still awesome. Him coming out, beating up the guys that were left in the ring. A few of them got the hell out of there. Beating up those guys, and ended up also hitting the F5 on Roman Reigns, teasing that Brock was going to be in the Royal Rumble, and teasing that he wanted to be the next champion, and he was coming after Roman Reigns. So, plenty to be excited about there, no doubt about that. Lesnar in the Rumble, the right call, had to happen. Really nothing else for him to do. So I'm glad he's in there. He should be focused on that title. And this match is going to be awesome, I think. I mean, this Royal Rumble match, as predictable as it may be, I think Reigns, we all can expect him to come in at number 1, probably be there until the last 2. And whoever may be the last 2, will it be Reigns and Triple H? Will it be Reigns and Lesnar? We don't know. But it's going to be exciting. There's a few decent options that have a chance of winning. Really, probably only 3, Reigns, Lesnar, and Triple H, at least in my book. Some people are throwing The Rock's name around. I don't think he's a real chance in hell. I don't think he's going to appear. And I don't really think he needs to. So, I think this is just going to be a very exciting time. I just don't know who's going to get it done. Which is why the Royal Rumble in previous years hasn't been as exciting. Because you just kind of get the feeling, yeah, this guy's going to win. Last year's Rumble, we knew about 6 months before the Royal Rumble that Reigns was going to win it. I think we knew a long time before. And the year before that, when Batista's name got announced, we knew he was winning the Royal Rumble. So, it's been quite predictable in the last few years. The year before that, John Cena, we knew he was a lock too. So, it's been quite a predictable number of few years now. It'd be great if we can have a Royal Rumble that you just don't know where it's going to go. You have an idea, but it could be a different result. And that's pretty much what we're in right now. We have an idea who's going to be there. We just don't know who's going to get the results. So, it's pretty exciting times. I think the Rumble's going to be one of the, maybe not the best one in a while because of the lack of star power, but at least the finish, the Final 4, I think will be very exciting, and that should be a good time. I really think that, you have Roman Reigns in there by himself. Out comes number 30. It's Triple H, and you have that huge, brawl and that epic stare down and just that final moment. Triple H and Roman Reigns in there together. I think that would be awesome. That's just me, but that would require Brock Lesnar getting eliminated beforehand, and I just cannot see the Beast getting eliminated. And honestly, if I was the WWE, I would give Brock Lesnar that elimination record. Yes, Roman Reigns just beat it, but hey, it's the Beast. I would have Brock Lesnar come in at like number 10 and eliminate just about everybody. Just eliminate half the Rumble. And why not? It's Brock Lesnar. He can do what he wants. So, it would take a hell of a lot to get Lesnar out. Maybe the only guy who could probably do it would be Roman Reigns. And I could probably see Roman Reigns eliminating Lesnar. And that may set up for a Lesnar and Reigns match in the future. Because if Roman Reigns retains, then obviously at Fastlane it's going to be a number one contenders matchup. Will Lesnar work that? Perhaps. Number one contenders match, Brock Lesnar versus, I don't know, maybe, Sheamus or Dean Ambrose, unlikely. I just can't see anyone else. So that's the thing. There's so many guys, there's so few guys, I should say, that really have a potential chance of being the champion. But, so that's probably a few ideas that I've kind of got right now for the Rumble. But that's really all there is to talk about on Monday Night Raw. I mean, tonight was really just a really long, dragged-out show. You're just kind of waiting for the main event. It's another instance where 3 hours was just too much. I just cannot wait right now. I hope very soon they scrap that 3 hours. I doubt it, but I would love for them to do it, because certainly right now, when you have such a few amount of stars in this show, when you see Titus O'Neil and Stardust have a 10-minute match on Raw, oh my god, it's just so long and drawn out, and it's just, oh my god, I can't do it. And I forgot to mention the social outcast group, not that it really matters, are currently babyfaces, apparently, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that's something different. You probably would have thought they'd be, your heel group that's going to get beat up by all the babyfaces every week. But instead, there might be that babyface group that's going to get beat up by the heels every week. So the roles are reversed, so that's something different for them, at least. So that was kind of cool. But, that's pretty much Raw done. I had a chance to check out the Mauro Ranallo on SmackDown's commentary. I think I botched his name. Moro? Whatever. But I had a chance to check out maybe just the one match. I think the one he did with Ambrose and Kevin Owens. I watched him on commentary, and I got to say, the guy's great. Honestly, he's got a lot of passion, and maybe just because it's his first night, he's new to the job, he wants to impress. Maybe in a year's time, he won't have that passion. But at least then, for that match, I was hyped. I was pumped. I was really enjoying it. I think the guy really has just that natural ability. Obviously, he's been doing boxing and whatever for a long time, but, sometimes it doesn't translate into wrestling. But I think he's doing it really, really well. Obviously, he's probably been, preparing for a long time now for this opportunity. And he's great. I think he's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. He's, just brings that, that hype. He's calling the moves. He's really doing all the things that Michael Cole refuses to do. And, the commentary right now in the WWE is so bad. I mean, Byron Saxton absolutely offers nothing. He's terrible. JBL is just sounds like this bitter old man who quite honestly does nothing to help the talent get over. Unless it's Alberto Del Rio, Mexico's greatest export. He doesn't say anything nice about anybody. Last week when Curtis Axel was trying to cut a promo, he was just talking down about him, just giving him nothing. He doesn't help anybody do anything. He's just this bitter old man who's just, got nothing positive to say. And it's not helping the product at all. It's not helping the talent get over. If anything, it's helping the commentators get over, and that's not what we need. We need to talk about the wrestlers in the ring and get these guys over. You need to do that. And half the time, he's 50-50. He may say a few things that are good. He may say some things that are not good. Look at Kalisto. He was talking about, he's got no chance in hell of winning, no hope. Well, at least say, look, this guy, he's been in Mexico, and he can do it. He's been, he's been around the block. He hasn't had his opportunity yet in the WWE, but tonight is his chance. And I think Del Rio is going to be, he's going to get a run for his money. I get it, he's a heel commentator, but he could at least give a guy a bone here and there. I mean, come on. So the commentary right now in WWE, it's just ridiculous at this point. And, I think someone, coming in there, freshen it up, give Michael Cole some time off, give him a few months off, let him come back freshed up, and give him some more motivation, try and improve the product, and, I think you'll have a better return in your commentary. But even then, if the product sucks, well, hey, your commentators are still going to put it over. And it's the art of commentary to make chicken shit turn into chicken salad. So if it sucks, well, hey, you got to make it sound good. And JR, he certainly did that for years. Cole, I don't think has been able to carry that legacy on. I'm not sure if there's anybody else really in the WWE that can do it, but certainly Cole's done a good job for years now. I just think, for me as a viewer, I think he needs to freshen her up, so I would have him take some time off. Another thing that's happening right now in the WWE is the injuries. It's getting crazy right now, the amount of injuries we have. John Cena's gone down in the past week. Sasha Banks was rumored to have an injury. It turns out that's false. I think it might have been Connor from the Ascension who had an injury. He's back in action, so that's okay. But like we said earlier, look, you got your Cesaros, you got your Tyson Kidds, you got your Randy Ortons, you got your Seth Rollinses, you got your Daniel Bryans, Nikki Bella's out injured. I mean, Hideo Itami's still out injured in NXT. It's getting ridiculous at this point. I think Natalia's out injured as well. It's really just beyond a joke. I mean, the amount of injuries is just unfathomable. I just don't know how. I don't know why all these injuries are happening. And the only thing I can look towards is the schedule. These guys are just being worked into the ground. It's like, I think she might be having time off as it is, but she's just come off a feud. There's really nothing else for her to do. Have her sit at home for a month or two, rest up and come back fresh. Come back fresh for WrestleMania season. Why not do that? We don't need these guys on Raw every single week for 52 weeks a year. We don't really need that. I think you can get away with having, weeks off. Whether the WWE needs to have an off season, look at the end of December. Did we really need to have a Raw? Did we really need to have a Raw? When that Raw that we had Roman Reigns win the title, did we really need to have the Slammy Wars and another Raw before that? We could have done highlight packages for the entire show and give those guys 2 weeks off and come back and start the new year freshed up. I think that would make sense. You still have Raw on TV, but, it's not these guys wrestling. And these guys come back 2 weeks off, they're freshened up, and they can get going again. Just things like that can be really done to improve the health of these guys, because right now something needs to give and something needs to change. Otherwise, eventually you can have everyone injured, and it's just going to be an absolute disaster. Not only are they getting injured, they're getting serious injuries. So Cena, he's going to be out for 6 to 9 months. Randy Orton's going to be out for 6 months. Seth Rollins is out for 6 months. Cesaro out for 6 months. It's not as though they're getting injured like a concussion. They're out for a month. They're getting serious injuries that are having huge repercussions, and they really need to change something. And to me, the only thing I can really see is the schedule. I don't know about you guys. Let me know, what can they do? Is it a matter of this guy, he works this night, has a night off, works this night, has a night off? Is that enough to really help them, take down less dates for them, or do they need a week off? Week on, week off? I don't know. But ridiculous, and I'm worrying that they won't be able to sell out WrestleMania. That's the big goal. They won't be able, the big goal this year is to sell out WrestleMania. I just don't see it happening at this point. What can they really do? No Cena, no Orton, no Rollins, no Bryan, no Punk. He's been gone for a while now. Who can they really bring back that's going to do the job? The Rock, he's going to be there, really be wrestling? Unlikely. Undertaker will have a match, probably. Sting may not be able to wrestle. Jericho in a match probably won't really help too much. Triple H might help a little bit. I just don't really see what they can do. Bringing back these part-timers is just not going to work. I just don't think it can really work this year. I think the WrestleMania card is going to be pretty thin. Not going to be much there. So it's going to be a really interesting time. I mean, this year they have a huge chance to really do a lot of different drastic changes to their show and to their product. And I get it. If you run less shows, you don't make as much money. But in the end, I think you're going to make more money out of merchandise and all these other things from having your top guys around for longer, rather than having an extra show. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the amount of injuries. It just happens. It seems like every week, like I said, a new week, a new injury. It's just ridiculous at this point. Something needs to give. So this week, what is Brendan playing? So there hasn't really been that much of a big week, I guess you could say. Still working away on Assassin's Creed 4. Still trying to get that platinum, slowly but surely. I actually picked up a little Trivia Pursuit game on the PS4. And I get what you're saying, hey, what, you got a Trivia Pursuit game? But actually, I've had a lot of fun doing that, so I'm still currently away, so I had some fun playing, some, family games and things like that, so not really a lot of gaming time, really, just some casual gaming, a bit of NBA 2K16, but, not really much chance to kind of get into my games. I've got a lot of games waiting for me when I get home, but I'm trying to get that Assassin's Creed 4 Platinum, and I probably should have a couple new Platinums in the next week or so, so keep an eye out on my second channel, Brendan's Platinums, to keep an eye out. Make sure you subscribe to that. Obviously more videos are going to be coming up this year, but keep an eye on that and you'll see a few more Platinum videos from me for those that are interested. But other than that, really not a lot going on in my gaming world, but there's plenty of things to answer from your questions this week, so without further ado, let's go check out some of the questions that you sent in this week, and let's give some answers.
Hi Brendan, what did you make of the premiere of SmackDown on the USA Network, and do you think the new commentator Mauro Ranallo is any good? Finally, because Byron Saxton ain't great, do you think the new commentator will improve him? But if he doesn't, who do you think should be alongside him? Jerry Lawler, Byron Saxton, whoever? Thanks.
Yeah, I think maybe Corey Graves could be a decent option to put in there. I know a lot of people are kind of pretty high on Corey Graves. I think he's okay. I think he might be ready to give another opportunity there as a color commentator, I should say. Might be good. Or maybe just a two-man booth. I don't know why they need to have a three-man booth. I think sometimes, less is more, and I think having two guys playing, off each other will work best. I think both time, you look at the past, I think two guys in commentaries worked the best. JR and King worked well. Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon worked great together. I mean, Vince and Macho Man. I mean, there's a lot of times where two-man booths have worked really, really well, and I don't think there's as much evidence for three-man booths. So perhaps just having Ranallo and King might be the best way to go about it. I don't think you need to have three in there, or just have Corey Graves and Ranallo in there. Have a completely different and fresh feel to SmackDown. That might be an option. Alrighty, so some other questions we've got here coming up from Jacob Radley. What is your favourite movie? Well, I think it's been a few years now, but I'm still going to pick my default favourite movie is The Other Guys. Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg. Absolutely love those two guys. That movie, the first time I saw it, I was watching it at 2 a.m. in the morning. I wasn't really expecting much, but I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so much I just could not breathe. It was just hilarious. Absolutely loved it. I've watched it a few times now, and I still get laughs out of it. Love it, love it, love it. There's so many great movies that I've seen. It's hard to kind of pinpoint one that I say, yes, this is dead set the best movie I've ever watched. I picked The Other Guys because I think it was just a great, funny movie. I really enjoyed it, and it's just like my go-to scapegoat question. But there's so many great movies I've seen that, aren't as, comedies, and, they're more serious movies. They're intense, they're thrillers, they're just incredible movies. There's so many I've seen, it's just hard to really pinpoint one that goes, yep, that's it. And there's a lot of movies I haven't seen that could be that movie. So it's hard to really say, but like I said, my scapegoat answer is that, The Other Guys. Another one comes from Liam Magaki. Do I like football, or as you may call it, soccer? And if so, what is your favourite team? Now, I'm not a big football fan. I like watching internationals. I love watching the World Cup when it was on last year. In terms of my favourite team, I guess you probably, speaking of EPL teams, I decided about maybe 12 years ago, in 2004, I had FIFA 04-05, whatever one. So I had that game, and that was the first time I've really been exposed to soccer. Now, I had Pro Evolution Soccer 2, but I think that was on the international team, so I used to always play as England. So on FIFA 04 or 05, whichever one it was, I had to pick a club team. So I picked Chelsea back then, and I've kind of stuck with them ever since. Now, I don't really follow the sport, don't really care that much to check the results or anything like that, but if I have to pick a team, it is Chelsea. Now, in Australia, we have our own little competition called the A-League, and if I have to pick a team there, I pick Sydney FC. I actually have never seen a professional football game live, something that's on my bucket list, I'm not going to lie, so I want to try and get that done. Maybe I could do it this year, maybe I'll go to a game this year, I don't know, but something I want to do sometime soon. This one comes from let's see what this is. Aomide Borisade. Sorry about the name. He wants to know, if I was to watch Universe Mode from the beginning, where should I start? Well, it's really up to you. It's a matter of, do you want to watch the entire series, from WWE 13 when it first started, because that's a lot of videos now. It's over 200 episodes, 220, 230, 240 episodes now. Do you want to do that, or are you happy to kind of start more recently, start at W2K16 and start from the newest game and kind of go from there? Because the newest game, you can get into the series from that. You won't know a lot of the history, but it's kind of like my job as the commentator of it to kind of keep you up to date with all the history in case you may miss something. But if you start from episode 1, 2K16, there's a recap of what just happened on 2K15. You can go from there. So I would probably suggest any newcomers start from there. But if you want to watch the entire series, there's plenty of episodes there. It'll keep you busy for a long time, and you should enjoy it. So my first videos, back in the WWE13 series, weren't exactly that great. I mean, they're okay, but I think they're a lot better now. But I still think you can enjoy them, and I still think you'll get a kick out of them. So definitely check those out if you have the time. If you don't have much time, then definitely I would suggest 2K16. And finally, this one comes from Sandman. What do I think about James Storm returning to TNA and not signing an NXT contract? So James Storm has decided to stay and go back to TNA. I think he's getting $250K is his deal. I think he was getting offered maybe $100,000 in NXT. So it's really a money thing. It's not about getting the exposure or anything like that. It's just about money. And that's fair enough. If you're getting that money, I would probably take the deal too. He's got a family to look after. Probably doesn't have that many years left in the tank. Probably wasn't really getting a realistic deal in NXT. A realistic chance of moving up and earning big money. I think his deal was probably just to work at NXT, stay there for a couple of years until your contract runs out, and see you later. I don't think he was ever really going to get a big chance. And he's probably seen what Samoa Joe's doing and probably sees, okay, this guy's not really getting much of an opportunity to move up in the future, so I need to take the money while I can. And probably TNA, let's be honest, may not have that many years left. And if TNA, if the well does dry out, then he could always go back to NXT and do that thing there. So I think while he can, he's getting the bigger money, and you can't blame the guy. So I guess we might touch on the whole Impact relaunch on Pop TV, I suppose. I didn't watch the show. I haven't really had a chance to watch much wrestling at all. I can barely get through 3 hours of Raw. But I've heard it was a pretty decent show. It didn't really set the world on fire. Mike Bennett is in TNA now, which I think is good. EC3 won the title. I know, spoiler alert. Well, if you watch TNA, block your ears right now. In the next couple episodes of Impact, Matt Hardy wins the title and is a double turn. So I don't know. I don't really know the whole booking behind that. I mean, come on. You do a tournament for like 3 months, then you have the guy win the title, then you take the title off of him. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, all right. So spoilers are over. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, come on. I mean, TNA is just kind of backwards booking, but at least they've got a few guys in there, a few new fresh faces, and getting in one of their more successful tag teams and going from there. So I think overall, TNA has a small chance, but really, how much longer? I think they're on their deathbed. I think they're just trying to ride it out and just trying to do whatever they can to improve things. But I think really, at the end of the day, their booking, their management, just the talent they have, their marketing, I just think all these things are holding them back. I think to be fair, I think they have some great talent there, but they just don't know how to really make them into stars. I kind of got roasted a little bit on my forums. I was kind of talking about, well, look, TNA they've built EC3, that's great, but who else have they got? That's the thing, they've done well on building EC3, but they haven't really done enough to get anyone else to his level alongside of him. And that's the thing, you need to get guys along with him. EC3's there now, great, he's the man, but it's time to get someone there with him, and they need to build somebody else up there to get him alongside of him. Now, I haven't been following the product that intently, perhaps they've been doing that, but from what I've been hearing, not so much. So hopefully they can do that in the next 3, 4, 5 months, get a few more guys as, draws, guys you want to see, guys are doing well. They can do that, and perhaps the product will gain a little bit more momentum. I know they're going to be losing Kurt Angle very shortly, which will certainly hurt them a lot. But look, I think TNA, a new fresh start is a good thing for them. Hopefully they can, keep things going. Hopefully they can, turn things around. But really, I think they may be delaying the inevitable, but hopefully it's not the case. But look, not a strong start for their relaunch, but a few things to kind of look forward to, no doubt about that. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. If you did enjoy the podcast, make sure you leave a like of the video on YouTube. Leave any comments about anything you want to talk about in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you leave a question for next week's episode on the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums. Join up to the forums today. It is absolutely free. It will always be free. And you can come along and discuss wrestling, everything to do with BrendenPlayz on there as well. And you can leave your question there for next week's show, potentially to be answered next week. You can also do it in the YouTube comment section down below. Make sure you go and check us out on Spreaker. Something exciting happened to us on Spreaker this week. We're getting an opportunity to be involved in a promotional campaign. Our show was selected for that, so that's pretty exciting. I think that's really cool that our show was selected out of hundreds and thousands of shows on that network, so that's great. Check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and of course here on YouTube. So guys, appreciate all support. Things are looking great for the year. Looking forward to getting more videos and more content out for you guys. Everything's starting to really kind of fall into place. WWE's really exciting for the Royal Rumble. I think the match is going to be great. Some positive times ahead, no doubt about that. So guys, thank you so much for listening in. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.